Hello and welcome back to the Road to Good Cooking. Today I'm going to sous vide cook some chicken legs that I found on sale the other day and I cannot wait to get started. And let me show you what I'm so excited about. And here's what I'm excited about. I received this package of Mike D's barbecue sauce and seasoning, and I'm going to season half of my chicken with his spicy sweet rub and the other half with his all-purpose rub. Both are to die for delicious. And I tell you what, I cannot wait to try it on some ribs this weekend. I set my sous vide water bath for 176 degrees Fahrenheit and I set the timer for 5 hours. Off camera, while I was waiting for my water bath to come up to the temp, I coated all of my chicken legs with extra virgin olive oil and Mike D's seasoning. I placed each batch into separate vacuum sealed bags. When the water bath came up to the temperature, I added the two vacuum sealed bags. You will notice the temp will drop slightly, but don't stress because it will recover and come back to the set temperature. It took my temp approximately 9 minutes to come back up to the set temp. I'm not worried about that because I have all day to cook. And here's my chicken after the 5 hours cooking time in the water bath. Here's my all-purpose season one, and here's the sweet and spicy season one. And from this point, I'm going to cut the bag open. Now be real careful during this step because that steam coming out of there could burn you pretty bad. So just be really careful. I'm going to use my Thermapen to check the internal temp to see where we are. And it looks like my readings are right around 155, 156, somewhere around there. I'm going to check the other bag as well. Now, when you're cooking chicken, you really don't want to be guessing at the internal temperature. Chicken needs to be cooked to the proper temperature. You don't want to make someone sick by eating your undercooked chicken. This Thermapen is a must-have kitchen tool and is so worth the investment. And no more guessing about your meat temperatures. Now, I'm going to remove my chicken from the bag. Now, off camera, I took a baking sheet and I covered it with aluminum foil and I sprayed it with cooking oil. I'm going to reserve all this beautiful natural chicken broth for another use. I tasted it and it is absolutely delicious. I can see this broth going into some gravy, or maybe I'll make myself a chicken marsala dinner for Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to me. There's nothing better than homemade chicken broth. And here's all my chicken laid out on the cookie sheet. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to lightly brush on some of the barbecue sauces that I received from Mike D's, and the first one I'm going to use is the spicy barbecue, and I'm going to put that on half of them, and then the big sauce I'm going to put on the second half. I love the consistency of his sauce. It's more like a finishing sauce, and it's just not too thick and it's not too sweet. It is just right with the right amount of spices and heat. Boy, it's really, really good. Well, before I started putting the sauce on there, I patted them dry because I don't want them to steam. I just want them to finish cooking. I don't have much longer to go. And after I get them all basted, I'm going to put them in a 400-degree oven. And I'm going to cook them about 10 minutes on each side. Maybe 10 minutes on one side and maybe 5 or 6 on the other. I'll use the thermal pan and test it again after about 10 minutes and see where we are temperature wise. Don't those look good? Mm. And you ought to smell them. Oh, the smell is insane. And I'm using a Teflon brush. I love these brushes. I'll have the information um, for the link for these in the description box below. And for the second half, I'm going to use that big sauce. I think this one is my favorite. I keep going back and forth, but it's just good on everything. And it too has the same consistency. You can see where it's not too thick. And what I like about it is that you can use it as a finishing sauce, which I did on several different items. And most barbecue sauces, I don't like to do that because it's like I said, it's just too sweet. But with these, with his sauces, I can use it as a finishing sauce. I can put it on there at the end, and it just takes my chicken over the top in flavor. And from this point, they're going into a 400-degree oven for 10 minutes. Okay, and here's my chicken after about 10 minutes, and I'm using my thermal pen again to check the temperature, and it looks like I'm almost right on point here with temperature. It looks like I'm right at 169, 170, somewhere around there. Doesn't matter. I mean, I like it for a little bit over because that way I know that it's done. And I'm going to hit them one more time with my sweet and spicy sauce on this batch, and then the big sauce on the other batch in the background there, and I'm going to pop them back in the oven for another few minutes just to let that sauce caramelize on the chicken. Yeah, put some of my favorite, this big sauce. Ooh. And he has it named perfectly, big sauce, because it has a big flavor. I'm gonna smoke some ribs this weekend, and I can't wait to try them on my ribs. I'll let you know. I cut one open just to see what it looked like inside, and as you can see, it really is done. So it's just a matter of just caramelizing the sauce, and then they'll be good to go. Look at that. The meat is just as tender as it can be. Look at this. I better check this piece out. Okay, here's my finished sous vide chicken legs, and look at how tender it is. Oh man. Look at that. One thing I noticed is that it does change the texture of it. Let me give it a taste. Is that good? It's tender. It's moist. Got some serious spice to it because of the spices that I added to it. I used the all-purpose rub on half of it, and then the sweet and spicy rub on the second half, and it's so good. Okay, it is time for me to get my smack on and throw some D's on it. I tell you what, his all-purpose seasoning, it really is good on everything, and it's a very versatile seasoning. So let me recap what I did. I had about 4 pounds of chicken legs, and I coated them with olive oil and then sprinkled them with Mike D's seasoning. I had 2 different types of seasonings. I put them both in their individual bag, sous vide them for 5 hours at 176 degrees Fahrenheit. I took them out at the end of the cooking time, dabbed them dry, slathered them with some of Mike D's barbecue sauce, put them in a 400-degree oven, and I cooked them for about 10 minutes just to make sure that the internal temperature was correct. I checked them with my thermal pen to make sure that I was on point with the temperature. And at the end of 10 minutes time in the oven, I took them out and slathered them again with some D's barbecue sauce, put them back in the oven probably for another 2-3 minutes just to caramelize the barbecue sauce. This is really a great recipe, and sous vide cooking is, I'm so getting into it. It's such a healthy way of cooking. You're basically cooking the food in its own natural juices. You're not boiling it like you would in a crock pot where you're taking all the good nutrients out and the flavor, and then you have to put other stuff in it to bring the flavor back. But with sous vide cooking, you don't have to do that. Now, I don't have a grill, so at least at this house, I have my grill somewhere else. So I found a way of, I'm trying to find different ways of cooking it in the oven, and I do have a little electric grill that I could use outside. And this weekend I'm going to do some ribs, and I'm going to try it again. So thank you for stopping by, and I hope you like this recipe. Please leave me a comment. Share my link with everyone you know in the universe, and don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget you have Sweetheart's Day coming up, so make sure you cook something special for your sweetheart, and hug them, love them, buy them pearls, buy them chocolates, and make them something good to eat. Okay, thank you for stopping by. Have a great weekend. The ordering information for Mike D's barbecue seasoning and barbecue sauce will be listed in the description box below. Be blessed and keep on cooking.